On today's show, we are going to take a look at the 2024 GMC Acadia. That is right. And specifically, we're going to look at the AT4 version because I want the off-road trim looking. Now, they do have unique looks to each trim of this thing, as we will bring up. This video is going to make my dad happy because he's a big GMC SUV fan. And so he's definitely going to like that I'm looking at a GMC. So here, let's bring this up. Of course, 24 model years. So I do expect 25s to start somewhat rolling out this fall. So we're still pretty current. And as always, you can expect the price to go up a couple hundred to $300 or $400 each year. It's just how it works. We can see here, there have the Elevation all-wheel drive, which I did select all-wheel drive previously. The AT4 all-wheel drive and the Denali all-wheel drive. Each trim, as you can see here, you get a little bit different grille to each one. So they each have their unique look. And I want the off-road look to this thing. I want them big painted red tow hooks and all that. So we're going to get a 2.5 liter turbo engine this thing with the 8-speed automatic. It makes over 300 horsepower and over 300 foot-pounds of torque in this little thing. So it's pretty spunky. So let's select this one here. We'll select it and let's hit exterior. And this is where, I always say color defines the vehicle. Between color and tire choice, that is always a big thing to change the look of the vehicle here. And I'm pretty excited the way this thing looks already. I do like the AT4 badging. I do also like the fact that we're getting some red tow hooks. It just makes it look a little bit more rugged. Now, is it more capable than the Elevation or the Denali version? I can't say for sure, but it does look pretty cool that way. You're gonna get some rugged all-terrain tires on this thing, which I would probably go ahead and change out because I would probably put some KO2 or 3s on this thing just because I would want more of a rugged looking tire. Now you're going to pay for it slightly with the fuel economy. But if I'm building this for me and I want this for the family for the next year or so, I probably want to be proud of it. And I want to look at it and be like, man, that thing looks tough. So I put a little bit more rugged tire on this thing. Now, paint color. We've got Summit White, which is no upcharge. And you can see from here, we just keep getting charged for paints. Ebony Twilight Metallic is next. Dark looking vehicle always looks aggressive, especially with those red tow hooks. Deep Bronze Metallic, which I don't know. I like this color. Obviously, I have this kind of color on my Raptor, but I don't know about this SUV. It looks a little bit strange. Maybe if they blacked out the grille and blacked out some of the features, it might look good, but for $495. Sterling Metallic, which is a nice silver. Good. That color works well with the grille and everything. So it still looks aggressive. Volcano Red Tint Coat, which is between Mazda and GM, they have the best red color in the business. I mean, it's a deep, nice glimmer to it. It's something special about it. And that is for $645. And then we have a White Frost Tri-Coat. You can see here. So you're going to get that pearly look to that thing, which is $1,100. Two white colors on that, and one's free and one's not. Which would you go with? And now you see these in person too. Definitely there's a difference, but these digital renderings and always help that. So out of all these colors, where are you going with? You guys probably already know which color I'm going with. I'm going with that volcanic red tint coat because once again, this color in person just looks great. Now it may not be the most aggressive looking, but I kind of like it. And it goes well with the red tow hooks. I like the black accents on the outside of this thing. So I definitely think this thing is ready to go. Let's look at the side of this thing a little quick. Good looking SUV. I like the fact that they've kind of changed it up front and rear just a little bit. Of course, getting that quad tips on that thing, which if I remember right, there actually are 4 pipes coming out of this thing, though it is a 4-cylinder. So I think at the end, it all comes out of one pipe. They just split and make it look that way. But man, oh man, that is a good looking SUV right there. I would be proud to own that thing. So let's get into some options. And next up is wheels. Now it looks like we only get one option for wheel on this thing, which is kind of a bummer because you're going to see down the row where they have a blacked out wheel, but it's a dealer option, which kind of bums me out because it's a dealer option. It's going to cost you about triple the price that it probably should. So I like the fact that this is still a good looking wheel, especially you add some aggressive tires to this thing. I think it'll look great, man. That's really about all of our options for there, which is kind of a bummer, but is what it is. So next up, we will go to we're gonna look at some packages here. So the interior of this thing looks great. Let me see if I can blow this up. Now that looks great. And I have to admit, when we sat in this thing, I was a little skeptical because I've been hit or miss with GMC products in the past. So when we and Kelly saw this thing at Chicago, I was very impressed when I sat in this thing. It's very, very comfortable. A lot of room. It's a lot of room in this vehicle. And I think for this, the way it is, of course, you get 3 rows in this thing. I don't need all the 3 rows. I think for 4 or 5 people, you're well comfortable in this thing, and you keep that third row down for your passengers, and you'd be fine. Look at the screen of this thing. I love the way they've molded this into the dash. It looks like it belongs there. I'm overly tired of this Tesla measurement contest we have going on to see who can get their screen higher in the way of your line of sight of the windshield. I like it built into this, and I think it's more classy that way. I think everybody has the same screen anymore, so we don't need the screen popping up in everybody's kind of appearance, like kind of like, oh, look, he's got the fancy new car. No, I like this. I want it built into the dash like this. Now they are running Google on this thing, so GM as a whole is moving over to letting Google handle their infotainment system, is which I'm not sold on just yet, but maybe if I tinker with it, maybe if I buy this vehicle and tinker with it a little bit, I'll grow to like it. But overall, the layout of everything, the dash looks great. I love their font they use. I've been a big fan of the GM in general. The fonts they use across the board looks great for their tack there. Of course, you're going to get all the fancy layouts. That screen, once again, though, I like that there's an actual volume button. I do like that there's physical toggle switches down here, which is nice. I don't like when you have to go into the screen for everything. So ultimately, though, the interior of this thing is very nice. You can see here 3 rows, 2 captain's chairs in the middle, which is nice. Makes it easier to get in for that 3rd row. And it does look like we got seating for 7 there. I would say 6 comfortably. 7 if you're dealing with a bunch of babies maybe, or toddlers you throw in the back. But ultimately, I'm probably never going to use the back seats. Now Kelly would love to have a 3rd row, but I'm probably just never going to use the back seats. And if I could probably remove those, I probably would, and just make this a 4-seater. But look at that, it looks good. I like the fact they give you a little bit of stitching there. You get a little bit of wood trim to this thing. Very classy without being overdone. So that's very impressive in this thing, and I like it. And I love the storage under this. I love when companies do that. Of course, it's not it's not EV, so you do have that transmission sort of in the way, but still. So Forest Storm, but with mahogany accents, is our color there. So we're going to get a mixture of cloth and Cortex seats in that, so which is our only option. So we can't really add much there to that. Now we get a couple packages here. The Super Crew package, which if you just want to give up driving a little bit to the car, you do that, and it's $3,490, basically $3,500 for that, which is going to give you their Super Crew technology, which I will show you here. See it in the steering wheel there when it's active. You get that nice green to that thing, and it says, hey, I've got this for you, but you still have to be attentive because they do have sensors that kind of keep an eye on your eyes and everything. Make sure you're kind of paying attention. So the car is not completely responsible, but allows for hands-free driving on compatible roads, which is a big thing. Compatible roads, because not every road is ready for this technology. While you're using the technology, it helps to prompt you to pay close attention to the road so you're ready to take control, and it may require additional equipment options. And no thank you. I'm old school. I like cruise control. I like some of the lane keep assist technology, but I'm not ready for cars to completely drive for me. That's a big chunk of money right now. Let's see the luxury package, which I want to bring this up because you're going to get the heads up display, the 8-inch diagonal heads up display, which is pretty nice. I'm not a big fan of heads up displays. I tend to get a headache when I look at it because I want to focus on that, and it distracts me driving. So I would turn that off probably. But what you do get, heated, ventilated drivers and front passenger seats. So the my tushy will be nice and warm or cool. And the passengers are going to get heated rear seats. So my daughter would be very, very, very happy about that. And a big one, you're going to get the acoustic laminated glass, which does help on the ride, help keep it a little quieter on the road. So definitely part of that luxury trim to that. And we're going to get, I believe there's some windshield wiper. It keeps the windshield wipers warm so they're not sticking to the glass, which is pretty nice. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, and definitely for $1,150 it's not going to impact the price that much, so I'll be okay with that. Next up is floor liners, which is kind of weird because you have $275 or $250. So this is the interior protection package, which is cheaper. So we're going to get the first and second row all weather floor mats. You can see right here, those look pretty cool. And I believe you get a rear mat as well. See, third row mat as well there. So which is pretty nice for $250. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And because I think the molded liners that these companies use now are so good compared to what they used to be. So I'm okay with that. So we have panoramic sunroof for, I wish I could click this, but it didn't go to show you anything. But for $1,500, it's a full panoramic sunroof. Personally, I would love to have it, but I would like to keep the cost down on this vehicle just a little bit. And I know Kelly loves the sunroof, but I rarely use it all the time. So I think I would pass on that. It might help for resale though, if you wanted to get rid of that vehicle down the road. So here's that heated park wiper that I was talking about. So it keeps some heat on the windshield wiper so it doesn't stick in icy conditions. Front license plate bracket, no, I have no need for that. As you can see here, they've blurred out this black looking wheel that I bet would look really cool in this car, but it says see dealer for pricing. So I'm going to back away from that. The molded in guards, I'm hit or miss on this. On probably this, normally if I got the Denali version of this, I would want those, but I think because I might do slight off-roading with this one, I would just rip those off. So let's see what's next. And that is what's next. That is our badass looking GMC Acadia AT4. And that red looks great. Once again, I would probably put just a slightly more aggressive tire on it just because I would like the way it would look. Ultimately, I think what comes from the factory is very capable, especially if you're just going camping, stuff like that. I think it's going to get you where you want to be. But the interior of this thing looks very nice, and our pricing isn't too bad either. 53,440. But that is for a lease. I've tried to monkey with this thing and play with the to get it to finance, and for some reason the website just keeps kicking me back to leasing. So you might save actually a couple $100 if you're doing financing, but at the end of the day, the lease rates for this vehicle might not be too bad. It might be the way to go if you're just trying out this vehicle. Say, hey, I'm new to GMC. I'd like to just try it out for 2 years. I think that would be a pretty good way to go. So, as you can see here, summary of this vehicle, we started at $50,000. We added $645 to that pretty, and I mean pretty volcanic red tint clear coat paint. The 18-inch wheels are included with this thing, even though I would like to add those black wheels. It doesn't seem to be a good option right now. We are doing the luxury package, which does include some extra things. $1,400, which includes the interior protection package and that luxury package. We're getting that 15-inch diagonal GMC premium infotainment center, which is with Google built in. We are getting that 2.5 liter engine, as I said earlier, making a whopping 328 horsepower and 326 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty outstanding. Of course, the turbo does help that. We're getting the floor liners there, the third row floor liners. We're getting a few extras like that, but ultimately we didn't add too much, and we kept the cost pretty affordable in my opinion. Now, destination fees are $1,395, $1,400 on that. So our price total is $53,440, and that does not include tax, title, and license, all of that. So please be aware of that when you're buying the vehicle and you're like, hey, Dave with All Terrain Nation said it was supposed to be this. You go to your dealership, do expect that there will be a little bit of extra charge. There's dock fees and all kinds of stuff on that. So $53,440 for this little bad mother of an SUV. Where are you guys at with this thing? Because I think that thing is a beautiful looking vehicle, and I would be proud to own that for a year or two. So comments below. Let me know what you think about this thing. So whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or this badass little AT4 Acadia, yeah, I'm going to drive. I'm going to figure this one out. It's been your All Terrain Nation. I'm your host, David Boyd, and we're out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.